Yeah, you are welcome back to the Benin Empire Advancement League, the home of all the Benins. As you all may have noticed, the name of this organization has been changed. The new name is now Benin Advancement Forum. We have to change this name just because of the requirement of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to meet the requirement. And yeah, um, as it is, this organization has been existing for more than 2 years. And when a nation like Nigeria requesting that we change the name of the organization, we have to follow and we have to obey. So, yeah, that was one of the reasons the name of this organization was changed to Benin Advancement Forum. Yeah, but it doesn't change anything. And we're also working on our logos on our website to make sure we bring them to the highest standard every organization is having, or even to be the number one. Uh, there's a lot to say today about the Benin and the upcoming election. And not just only that, what is going on in Libya and Morocco. Uh, as you all might have heard, the earthquake in Morocco has taken a lot of lives, and people lost their loved ones, and all their existence have just been wiped away within minutes. And I'm appealing to everyone who is listening to this broadcast to go out and donate for the people of Morocco and for the people of Libya. And we, as Edo and Benin, we should try to reach out to our people in Libya and in Morocco also to know about their safety, because things are very, 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 very uh, difficult in those regions as of this moment. We, as Benin and as Edo, uh, our people, there are so many of our people living in these both countries. And it's very, very important we reach out to them to know how they're feeling. And if there's any help we can render to them, that we should know about that. Or the Edo state government should know about that, because these are people. And these are people they are rolling over. Let me go back to where I want to start. The issue between Edo and ESAN, and between Governor Obaseki and Mr. Shaibu. Mr. Shaibu left the government house as a head. The office he was holding in the government house and relocates to a suburb of Benin. And due to some issues he's having with the governor and some of those people in the government office. You see, the issue there could be very, very, very simple something. If Governor Obaseki is proposing a candidate of his own, that shouldn't stop Shaibu from not coming out to say, I also want to contest for the governorship election. Because if we want a free and fair election, nobody should be hindered. Nobody should be stopped not to participate in this election that is coming. If we want a free and fair election, Godfatherism shouldn't have a chance. Shouldn't have a chance in coming up, because this is something the Edo people fought against in the past election. In the past two elections, the Edo people fought against this, not just the Edo state as a whole, fought against all this. And now we are seeing things that are repeating themselves. For me, I am not a fan of democracy, but if we want to practice democracy, then we have to practice democracy in the full scale, not in the half scale. In the time you are trying to prevent and stop some people from participating in those elections, the election rigging has already started then. You, as a governor, has every power to guarantee a free and fair election in your state without oppressing some people, without oppressing other candidates that are also ready to contest for the election. My own take is just very simple. All godfatherism have to stop. All dictatorship have to stop if we want to have a democratic elected governor in 2024. For me, there's nobody who is not fit for that office. I will say this, whether you are Edo, whether you are ESAN, whether you are Kwale, whether you are Robo, whether you are Ika, all I wish my people is the best person to be in that office, the person who cares about the people, the person who can execute all the projects that we are having or we are trying to have. That is for me. But I don't know how the other people think about all these things. Shaibu, for himself, made a little mistake. Because if you want to be recognized in your own house, you doesn't need to go to court and start fighting first before coming home. Although I don't know what transpired or what moved him to go to court. So I cannot really condemn him for doing that. But for my own reasoning, I would say that was a big mistake. Because when we at the early stage start fighting each other, how will it end? How will it end? Let us be looking at the advantage and the disadvantage of all this that is happening right now. If you look at what is happening right now, everyone will understand there's a big fight ahead. There's a fight coming. That everybody should be ready. We can only see the level of escalation that is already going on right now. At the first stage, started with Edo and ESAN, people trying to prove now it's my turn. The other people will say it's my turn. But a true democracy doesn't have a turn for anybody. A true democracy allows the best candidate to win the election. The governor is also making a big mistake for me. Although I'm not in his own shoes, so I cannot condemn him for that, but I will always say what I'm thinking. You see, godfatherism was fought successfully. And now we're back to square one. You cannot be choosing anybody for Edo State for them to follow. I think the primaries will reveal the primary cannot also be free and fair if we impose candidates on the parties. You see, there's another level of escalation that is going to be coming. Because I can see people now just marching up to candidate, to be a candidate of all these parties. We have the Labour Party, we have the APC, we have the PDP. These people all of them are just marching up right now. It was a bit easier for the past 3 years, but now we have 3 parties competing for just one position. It could be a bloody campaign that we are going to be having, or a bloody election, if care is not taken. But if we come together to say no to violence, to say no to godfatherism, to say no to any malpractices, then I believe we have a chance of having a very, very free and violent-free election. But if we continue the way things are now, I don't think we are going to be having a free and fair election. We are supposed to be improving when it comes to free and fair election, but we are not improving when it comes to that. We are going backward. We can see the high level of corruption and the high level of dictatorship when it comes to selecting people who will represent us. It's like we don't have a voice to say this is what we want, because the three parties already point finger at those people that is going to be representing them without even having a primary yet. So the best thing to do is to find a solution to the issue between Shaibu and the governor of Edo State. Not just only that, other candidates are going to be coming, because what I'm seeing on social media today, people are already positioning themselves to take over the seat of the governorship of Edo State. And if care is not taken, we may have the wrong person leading Edo people, because Edo people are now completely left behind when it comes to the federal area, because we can see the movement that is going on right now in Abuja, in the presidential palace, the nominations, because we have to start asking ourselves, are we going in the right direction? How many people from Edo State, whether you are Edo, whether you are ESAN, whether you are Kwale, Etsako, Afiema, how many people from Edo State are now nominated into big positions in Abuja? We can see how things are changing rapidly. During the time of Buhari, we have these opportunities, but we misuse so many of them. We were always playing the game of blame, or blame game on every of these of these people. But right now, we can see the direction the federal government is moving towards. All the federal government roads in Edo State are in a catastrophic form. And nobody is talking about that, really. Nobody is talking about infrastructures in Edo State, because infrastructure is the key to any economic success of any nation or any state. If your infrastructure is bad, nobody is coming to live in that state. Nobody is coming to invest in that state. I think people who is blaming the federal government to say this is not a state road, I think that is a very, very big mistake. And at the same time, it's a very, very bad excuse to be given. This is not a federal road. This is a federal road. This is not a state road. My question is, why don't we have alternative to those federal roads? In the time past, we have state roads before the coming of federal government road. I know the money is not there, but we go to World Bank every day to borrow money, to use it for unnecessary projects. But why can't we borrow that money and use it successfully for infrastructures like the road, the train? Look at Lagos today. Let me give you Lagos State for an example. Although Lagos State have more revenue than us, why are they having that? It's because of the system they invented. Revenue collecting in Lagos is quite different from doing that in Benin. When we praise the government of Obaseki, sometimes we also have to see what is really going on, where we are failing, and where we need to buckle up to come up with ideas on how to be raising funds in Edo State and how these funds are being used. Okay, in the case of the palliative fund from the federal government, This was a very, very huge amount. You see, instead of dividing this money for these people, I believe we would have invested it in one of these factories, to rebuild one of these factories that can employ our youth today. Although there are also projects that is going on for our youth, where our youth could have registered and also go through some projects. But you see, because of the publications and the other activities of the state government, the message is not getting down to the grassroots, to these people who need this information. And this is where the government need to work on. How do I bring this message to the grassroots? All these enogis who are supposed to be doing that, but they are not living in their own local government. The chairman, the council chairman, they are not living in their own local government. The councillors, likewise the same. How can this information not get to the grassroots? This is the problem. Because most of these villages or these small towns who doesn't have the possibility of having internet and all those sort of things. These are the areas also we need to try to invest on. How to bring information to our people, because information is gold. Information is very, very important. And if we cannot be doing that, it's going to be very, very difficult for us. We need to invest in all these infrastructures. Because if you go to somewhere in Europe today, even the deepest village, they have access. They didn't fall from heaven. People sit down and put their heads together to say, okay, this one is one of the most important things. Roads, good roads, invite investment. Like the situation now in Benin, where in every rainy season we have this catastrophic situation. I think we can reverse it if we started investing in good drainages, putting things together. Then we can be able to avoid all this catastrophic situation where people lose their loved ones, where people lose their properties to erosion. You see, when business are being lost in this form, before we can be able to rebuild it's a very, very difficult situation for everyone. And I want the government of the day to start thinking about all this investment, about the digital investment. Because if I have electricity in my village today and have the possibility of going to the internet to do my business, to do everything I want to do, there's no need for me going to Benin City. If I'm going to Benin City, maybe I'm going to do another thing, not to do the business. Because our villages, our small communities are dying down. Are dying down because there's nothing for the people to be doing there. This is the time for the government to start turning things around. Let us see what is important and let's see what is not important. Increasing the payment of the enoges is not an achievement. For me, it's one of the low understanding that the government has. When we have a lot of youths who are jobless everywhere, even though who has a job cannot live from their own job, that is where we have to start. We have to start encouraging people to invest in our own land. You see, most of our people are running away from Benin because of the situation, the electricity. Then we have the erosion when it comes to rainy season. If we have constant electricity in Benin City, I don't think people will be running to Lagos. If we have constant internet in Benin, I don't think people will be running to Lagos or running to Abuja. People can do their business from their city room without leaving their city room. So it's very, very important we start investing in the future that will really give us the future we need. Not just investing on useless things that are not really relevant, that cannot even bring us to the future. When you invest in Nokia that is not living in the community, that is living in Benin, he doesn't know what is happening in the community. He doesn't even know how to invest or to attract investment to those communities. Even the council chairmen who are not living in their community, I think their mandate should be withdrawn, because you are elected to govern over or to administer over your council, your local government, and now you are somewhere else enjoying yourself, enjoying the amenities of another state. Why can't you do the same in your own state? My own take is this coming election, we doesn't have to miss this opportunity to elect people who have their people on their own mind, that can do things for their own people. Not people who will be fighting against each other, and not people who will be fighting our leaders, our tradition. That is also very, very important. Because what we experienced the past few days is like we are moving towards division. We are moving towards escalation that we cannot reverse. And that needs to stop immediately. The governor needs to think twice now and from this moment. Think twice before doing anything. The only thing you can be fighting for now is unity, not fighting each other anywhere you can. It doesn't attract anything to the state. Because when people look at what is going on in the state, they will not come to invest. But if we stand as one and have a focus on what we want to achieve, and when people see what is going on, they will come. You see, I was very, very happy when the seaport was signed by the former administration. That is, the transport minister and so on. I was very happy. There's something big coming to Edo State that will provide job for our people, that will make our people less dependent. You see, but that project today, we don't know how far. I think the government should also do a little bit to inform the people so that the people now know the direction the government is going to. Because we don't know exactly what is happening in that government, to say the fact. You were elected to do all this job, and you need to do this job. See this as a critic, because I need to criticize everyone that is not performing. If I am not performing, also criticize me. So it's very, very important we now move to the right direction. If we cannot lay the foundation of the right direction right now, it's going to be very, very difficult for the future of our people, for the future of our children. Lagos laid a bright foundation. That's why they can be able to do what they are doing today. Lagos is not bigger than Nigeria. It's only bigger than Benin City or Edo State. It's only of the population. We can as well achieve that if we focus, if we are not fighting ourselves, if we are not using the money we have to be going to court to sue each other. Every person, every citizen of Edo State has the right to contest as a governor of Edo State without somebody not stopping him from not doing that. This is a very, very simple message. Everybody should be carrying. Everybody should be carrying that message. Nobody should stop anybody from contesting, because we need the best person to win this election. We need the best candidate who will stand for our people, who will stand for investment, in bringing in investment to our state. So that is very, very important. Because people now in party line, like the PDP, like the APC, they are only engaged in fighting each other, to block each other whenever they can. But that is not the rightful way to do what we are supposed to be doing. The federal projects, the road projects in Benin City, the governor is elected to represent Edo State. When you come out to criticize the federal government, yes, you have the right to criticize the government. Is your criticism the rightful way? You can have one-on-one with the Minister of Road and Transport. You can do anything as a governor. You can send invitation to invite him to the state to see all these roads. Before we start shooting guns, I believe we have to load the gun first before we shoot gun. Without doing that, you cannot shoot any gun. You know exactly that the minister just assumed his office. The best way we could have go would have been to invite the Minister of Transportation to Edo State to view all this road, for him to know the situation we are facing in Edo State. You see, we made a very, very big mistake during the presidential election. We made a big mistake, and this mistake cannot be reversed. But now, there's still an opportunity for us just to make sure those damages have been shortened, not expanding those damages. If you, as a governor, you want to go into confrontation with the federal government, you can go into confrontation with the federal government, but don't lead the Edo people to be going into the confrontation with the federal government of Nigeria. That is a very, very wrong position. And we, as Edo citizens, we should be pleading. Use our social media, use everything we have to be informing the federal government of Nigeria that this is the situation we are living on today, and that we need their help as citizens of Nigeria. The resources of Nigeria is coming out from Edo State, Delta State, River State, and some other southern state of Nigeria. Without these revenues that is coming here from our oil, mineral resources, I don't think the Nigerian government will be boasting of what they are boasting of today. We, as citizens of Edo State, had the right of good living, or a good standard of living. And the governor, this very governor we are having today, need to be working towards all this to make sure. I know politics is difficult. I know the federal government also have their own problem with you. But we cannot be living in a world of confrontation every day. There's a time you go into compromise with other people. I'm not saying they are your enemy, but there's a time you make compromise with your enemy. There's what we call a ceasefire, where everyone come together, come to one table to discuss one common thing that is good for the people. I believe the governor should not miss this chance. Invite the Minister of Transport and Safety and all those areas to Benin, to Edo State, for them to see the situation of our roads. Putting blame on party leaders that are in Edo State, I don't think that is correct also, because you are the governor. You have a say on what is going to be happening in that state. So I will call it a day for today, and I want to say to everybody, we are not just about talking about tradition in the Benin Advancement Forum. We are going to be talking about so many things right now, so many activities are also going to be coming up before the election, and to re-educate our people, to reposition Edo State, because Edo State need repositioning. I'm not saying everything Obaseki did is bad, but there are some bad movement we need to stop. There are some bad investment we need to stop. Infrastructure is one of the best things that can happen to any state. Without infrastructure, China will not be who it is today. Without infrastructure, America will not be what they are today. Europe will not be who they are today. So we need all these things to also have a standard of living that is acceptable for our people. Because this is very, very important to avoid insecurity. Because when standard of living is very, very bad, then we have insecurity. All these things lead to insecurity. And we want to invite the governor to go to the international stage with the with the Federal Republic of Nigeria to talk to them so that they can do things for Edo State, because this is very, very important. Because there's no nomination, as we are seeing today, from Edo State in any big position, any meaningful position. And this is very, very, very worrisome. So thank you for joining me, and have a great day. Bye-bye.